In the world of budget-friendly guitars, there are a lot of brands who just come and go. Every now and again we get a new contender who shows up, makes a huge impact on the guitar market, and then subsequently vanishes into the ether to never be heard from again. But that is not something we can say about Harley Benton. Harley Benton are now celebrating their 25th anniversary as a brand. This is a brand that have really gone from strength to strength. Even in the very short time I've been acquainted with these guys, I've seen huge improvements in the quality of the gear that they are putting out. In this video, we're going to be checking out this guitar, which is the JA25 from their 25th anniversary line of guitars. So to celebrate their 25th anniversary as a brand, Harley Benton have taken some of their classic and most popular guitar shapes and given them a special 25th anniversary makeover. So the one I have here is the JA25TH or JA25. This is obviously a Jazzmaster style guitar. Now there are a bunch of other guitars in the range, ranging from Strats and Tellys through to a Les Paul style. There's a couple of basses as well. You can check out the full range in the link down below in the description. So what they've done for this anniversary is they've basically taken some of these guitars, given them a little bit of a spec update, finished them in this really cool Firemist Gold color, and yeah, just basically sent them out there as a limited number of guitars to celebrate being 25 years old as a brand. So before we dig into the specs of this thing, I just want to let you guys know this is a sponsored video today. So Harley Benton are paying me to make this video and they've provided me with this guitar. But as always, all the thoughts and opinions you're going to hear in the video are my own. Now, if you want to hear how this thing sounded straight out of the box, there's a video that is going to be linked in the description and also in the top corner of this video where you can see me unbox this thing for the first time and basically give my first impressions as I tune it up straight out of the box. This has now been sat in my studio for a couple of days, so it's fully acclimatized now. The strings have settled in nicely and it's playing great. So now we're going to talk about this in full detail. So let's dig into the specs of this thing. So the first thing I want to mention is the color. Now, this color is absolutely fantastically applied to the guitar. It looks great. It's a really, really striking color. And it's actually some of the best finishing work I've actually seen on a Harley Benton. It's a sparkle finish, but it's actually got a slight satin overcoat, which is really nice. I think they did a good job there choosing satin rather than a gloss finish. But I do have one really kind of small, I don't want to say problem because it's not a problem, but one small issue with this finish. And again, issue is probably a bit strong of a word here. Now, the finish name is Firemist Gold. But to me, and I mean, maybe you'll agree or maybe you'll disagree, but that to me is more of a coppery kind of burnt orange color. I wouldn't have called that gold upon first look. I would have definitely put that more in a copper or orange kind of vein. When I think of gold, I think of, Les Paul gold tops, that kind of more of a yellowy hue to the gold. That's not to say this isn't a great color because I actually do really like this color, but that's probably my only thing I could take any issue with in terms of this being called Firemist Gold, and I don't really think it's that gold. It's more orangey based. And the other slightly weird thing, I guess, is typically when we think of anniversary colors, the 25th anniversary is usually a silver anniversary and the 50th anniversary is the gold anniversary. I mean, Harley Benton have gone straight to gold here, which is fine. But I mean, if we're going to play by the rules, these should technically be silver. But that's, again, that's a minor problem. But that aside, you know, I still love the way it looks. But let's talk about specs. So we have, underneath the Firemist Gold finish, we have an American alder body. Now, it's got a good weight to it. I mean, I've played quite a few Harley Bentons. I've done a bunch of videos for them before, and I've played a bunch of other ones. And I definitely think this, I mean, this particular one, I'm speaking for this model I'm holding, it's probably the best one I've ever played. This, to me, really feels like a noticeable step up in quality from everything else I've played. That's not to say that everything else I've played by them is not great, because I actually have only had pretty good experiences with the brand, but this to me feels a little bit more special. It's got that little bit more, you know, kind of attention to detail, I guess, is the right way to describe that. Everything I played by them was great, but until I played this really feels like it's got that extra kind of 10%. So like I said, we've got that American alder body. That has a tortoiseshell pickguard, which I think matches really nicely with the finish. We've got a regular Tune-o-matic style bridge here. So usually on a Jazzmaster, we might have some kind of trem. They've opted for the tailpiece and Tune-o-matic setup here. We've got these two single coils here. These are Roswell JM-NADIV Alnico 5 pickups. Quite a mouthful there if you're going to say that out loud. They're kind of like giant single coils crossed with P90s. It's that kind of vibe. It's a very particular type of pickup that is associated with the Jazzmaster style. They're both Alnico 5s, and they're both Alnico 5 vintage according to the spec sheet. We've got a single volume, a single tone. There's your input, and a three-way selector switch. I would personally probably rotate that switch so it moves up and down rather than side to side, but again, that's literally just a personal preference of mine. It's a bolt-on neck, and the neck is this incredible roasted maple. This is a really nice flame. It's a very 3D flame that kind of moves with the light. You can kind of see it there on the camera, just really catching the grain. Probably the nicest roasted maple neck I've ever actually seen on a Harley Benton. On the top of that neck, we've got a dark laurel fretboard, and you can see there just how dark that is. It's a very, very dark brown. And then we've got these big block inlays. It doesn't actually say what the material is of those on the website, it just says block inlays. We've also got stainless steel frets here, 21 of them to be exact, and the fretboard has a 12-inch radius. So it's got that kind of slightly more modern feel. It's quite fast, but it's very, very comfortable at the same time. The neck on this is slightly chunky, but not huge. I quite like that. I personally lean more on a slightly bigger neck. It's not a super far shreddy neck, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, but it's got a good chunk to it. It's plenty there, you know, if you like to dig in a bit more. This also comes with a graphite nut. I'm not sure if this is actually Graph Tech or if it's just their own take on that. The color matched headstock has 6 vintage style tuners, but the cool thing here is they're locking tuners. They are only Harley Benton's own branded ones, but first impressions is that they're pretty solid. I can't really feel anything about those tuners that I don't like. They hold tune quite well. They feel good quality. So yeah, they're basically just Harley Benton's take on the classic lock and tuner design, which is a very nice spec upgrade for this guitar. We've also got binding on the neck as well, both sides as you'd expect, and that is incredibly well applied. It's very, very smooth. There's no kind of crossover edge there. You can feel like some guitars where the binding may stick up slightly. And the fret ends are really, really smooth as well. I've got to give a big shout out to the fret job on this thing, because that's the best fret end job I've ever seen on a Harley Benton as well. These guitars also come stock from the factory with Elixir 1046 strings on there. So again, you're getting premium strings with these things as well. This particular guitar would retail in the UK for around about £250. I think it's slightly less than that on the Thomann website. Now, when you buy this from Thomann, you'll also get a fitted gig bag and a 25th anniversary lanyard with it as well, with a laminate card on the end of it, which is quite cool. For whatever reason, I didn't get those included with this one that was sent to me. I would have quite liked the lanyard just because it's a bit of fun to collect those kind of things. But if you buy these from the store, you'll get a fitted gig bag and a lanyard with it as well. So this thing is pretty much ready to go. I mean, honestly, I've not even done any tweaks on this thing. I literally just tuned it up in the unboxing video. I've played it quite a bit over the last couple of days. I've tuned it up maybe 2 or 3 times just as the strings acclimatize. And yeah, it's a great guitar. I'm really, really excited to put this thing through its paces now in this video, because I think they're really, really giving a lot of guitar for not much money with this series of instruments. So yeah, let's plug this in now and hear some tones. All right, so gear-wise, I've got the Harley Benton JA25TH plugged into the Black Star Studio 10 6L6 at the back there. That is running completely clean and is running via the 2-notes Torpedo Captor X straight into my DAW. And then for some overdrive that we'll use later on in the video, I'm using the Kernam Ridge Overdrive. So we're going to start with some clean tones. We've got 3 different pickup positions. We've got the bridge pickup, the bridge and neck together, and just the neck on its own. So I'm just going to play some clean tones and move through the 3 pickup positions. So it's got some real kind of glassy clean tones to it. Those single coils have got a real nice kind of spiky sound. They're not as rounded as, let's say, a P90. They're definitely more on the bright edge of things. But I think if you're looking for something that's going to give you a real kind of cut to your playing, or something that's going to be nice for kind of real super clean hi-fi picked sounds, these are great pickups for that. You're not going to get that kind of warm rounded neck P90 thing that you get from a real P90, but it does the job. You could probably compensate for some of that with the tone control as well. So now I've switched on the Kernam Ridge Overdrive, and I'm going to play through all 3 pickup positions with some drive. So there's a bunch of great drive tones on there as well. These pickups respond really well to drive. And actually, what I said about the clean tones of this being not very P90-like and very kind of bright and hi-fi, they actually seem to take on a slightly different character with some drive. Now, to me, that neck pickup with some overdrive actually sounds a little bit more P90 than it does clean. The drive actually kind of takes away some of that glassiness. If I play it again with the overdrive off and on, the drive actually seems to tame that a little bit, which is quite nice because we get that really kind of glassy, clean, great for funk kind of tone. And then we can actually get a bit bluesier then with the drive sound. So these pickups, obviously being single coils, they're not going to be great for super high gain. Where you're going to be most comfortable with this is low to medium gain. Think like blues, classic rock, indie, alternative rock. You could probably play metal on these things. It's not unheard of for someone to go and use something a bit out there like a huge single coil of a Jazzmaster to play heavy stuff. But really, that's not where these things are comfortable. They're more comfortable in your kind of blues, classic rock kind of realm of tone. But yeah, I mean, this is a great sounding guitar. The only thing left now is I'm just going to roll the tone knob up and down a little bit while I play with some drive, just so you can hear the range of what that does. So with the tone roll back, we get some of those kind of Clapton-esque throaty sounds as well. So yeah, very, very versatile considering it's got just 2 single coil pickups. So yeah, there it is. There is the Harley Benton 25th anniversary JA25TH or JA25th, whichever way you want to say that, in this really cool Firemist Gold color. I really, really dig the color. Like I said, this is a great guitar. I mean, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, Harley Benton are just a brand that have gone from strength to strength. They've always kind of impressed me. I've been kind of hooked since day one, since I first played a Benton. I really liked it. But every one I've subsequently played since then, I can kind of feel the brand growing through the instruments that I'm playing because there's always that kind of noticeable step up in quality. So, I mean, for me, I've only had really good experiences with them as a brand, and I'd like to see this continue. I'm really excited to kind of see where these guys go next, because if this is what they're outputting for $250 at the moment, I would be really interested in seeing, you know, how far they could push that and maybe even bring in some higher end models. Like, let's start talking about getting some £700-800 Harley Bentons and really seeing, you know, what they can do for that kind of price range. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this thing down below in the comments. And if you've played anything from the 25th anniversary, I would love to hear what your experiences are as well. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you've played from this range, or if you owned anything cool from this range. I'd love to hear what you guys have been doing in that regard. While you're down there, let me know what you think about this thing. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you very soon.